Lila had always been careful. In her small town of Eldenbrook, where every smile carried judgment and every whisper could become a rumour, she had learned the value of appearances. Her life was comfortable. Her little flower shop brought her steady income, and she was admired, almost envied by the townspeople. But admiration, she realised, was a double-edged sword. The higher you rose in the eyes of others, the harsher the fall could be. She prided herself on being practical and logical, but deep down she longed for something unpredictable, something wild. That longing first appeared the day she met him, the man everyone called mad. He appeared in Eldenbrook quietly, moving like a shadow through the marketplace. His hair was untamed, his clothes mismatched, and he muttered to himself as if the air itself were a companion. The townspeople laughed openly. "There goes the lunatic," they said. "Does she plan to marry him?" Curiosity prickled inside Lila. Most would have laughed at such thoughts, but she found herself watching him. There was something in the way he knelt to water the smallest plant, the way he spoke to children without expecting anything in return. He seemed alive in a way the ordinary townspeople could not understand. The gossiping socialites, led by a wealthy woman named Maribel, mocked her relentlessly. "Why waste your life with a fool?" Maribel sneered. "Don't you want someone respectable with wealth and status?" Lila's heart ached, not from pride, but from longing. She realised she had a choice: continue to live under the weight of judgment or trust her instincts. One evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the cobblestone streets in gold, she found herself standing before him. I like the way you see the world," she said softly, afraid yet determined. "I don't care what anyone else thinks." The man looked at her, eyes sharp but kind. "And you, Lila, have the courage to see beyond the surface. That is rare." The townspeople mocked her at the wedding. They whispered, rolled their eyes, and even feigned sympathy. But Lila held her head high, her heart full of anticipation and fear. She had chosen what she believed was right, and in doing so, she stepped into a world she could never have imagined. Act 2. The Test, 1,400 words. Life with her mad husband, whom she now called Adrian, was unlike anything Lila had known. Their home was a quirky, colourful place filled with books, strange machines, and plants that seemed to respond to his touch. He spoke often of ideas and dreams that sounded impossible, even insane. At first, Lila doubted herself. Maybe the town was right. Maybe she had made a mistake. She would watch Adrian talk to the flowers or spend hours in the workshop, and a small pang of fear would strike her heart. One morning, while she sat by the window watching the townspeople pass by, an old flower seller approached her. She was a fragile woman with a face lined by kindness and hardship, yet her eyes were sharp and knowing. "Troubled, child?" the old woman asked, placing a hand on Lila's shoulder. Lila sighed. "I love him, but everyone thinks I've lost my mind. Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm foolish." The old woman smiled faintly. "Madness sometimes wears a crown unseen, and fools wear masks of gold. Watch closely, for truth is rarely what it seems." The words haunted Lila. Over the following weeks, she began to notice small, miraculous things about Adrian. The sickly plant in the marketplace suddenly bloomed under his care. The town's neglected fountain ran clear and sparkling after he tinkered with its mechanism, and little by little she realised that what seemed like madness was, in fact, a brilliance the town could not comprehend. But the town's gossip would not fade. During the annual Eldenbrook festival, Maribel and her followers concocted a public spectacle to humiliate Lila and Adrian. They claimed Adrian's inventions were dangerous and that Lila had been deceived. The crowd gathered, curious and gleeful at the spectacle. Adrian stood calmly, a soft smile on his face, while Lila's heart raced, but she remembered the old woman's words. She took a deep breath and defended him. "This is not what it seems," Lila said, her voice steady despite the murmurs. "Do not judge someone without seeing their heart and actions." A hush fell over the crowd. Some sneered, some hesitated. And then Adrian did something no one expected. He raised a small device, and the fountain in the centre of the festival erupted in a dazzling display of light and water, forming patterns of flowers and stars. It was breathtaking. Gasps filled the air. But Adrian did not stop there. He revealed documents, charity plans, and inventions that would bring wealth and opportunities to the town, to the very people who had mocked him. Maribel's face turned pale as she realized the folly of her envy and pride. Lila felt a wave of awe. Not only had she chosen love, but she had stood by someone whose genius and kindness would transform the lives of many. She understood the truth of the old woman's words. Appearances could deceive, but the heart rarely lied. Act 3, The Moral, 900 words. After the festival, Eldenbrook changed. Maribel and the other socialites, humbled by Adrian's generosity, quietly retreated into shame. The town learned a new respect for kindness and humility, realizing how often envy had clouded their judgment. Lila and Adrian continued their quiet life, though now admired not for wealth or status, but for the integrity, wisdom, and care they displayed every day. They planted new gardens, helped the needy, and shared knowledge freely. People came to them for guidance, and Lila found herself laughing more than she ever had in her life. One day, as she tended the flower shop alongside Adrian, the old flower seller returned. "You've learned well, child," she said. "Not all lessons come from books. Some come from love, patience, and courage." Lila smiled. "I understand now. What others call madness may hold the greatest treasure, and what seems wealth may hide folly." Adrian took her hand. "The world will always judge, but it is those who act with kindness and integrity who shape it." Years later, Lila would tell the story to her own children, teaching them the same lesson she had learned. Do not judge by appearances, trust your heart, and understand that envy and pride are poor guides. True wisdom lies in seeing the unseen, in valuing courage, patience, and love above all else. Moral statement: do not judge by appearances. True wisdom is found in kindness, courage, and the heart's vision. Sometimes what seems foolish holds the greatest treasure.